The views and opinions expressed on Lifeguards Off Duty are those of its hosts and guests exclusively. They do not represent any entity, organization, or municipality.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Michael Katchmar,
I'm Tyler.
And I'm Sean.
and this is Lifeguards Off Duty with Dr. Michael Katchmar, the Jersey Shore #1 lifeguard-themed video podcast.
Watch us on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook Live. Listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or whatever streaming service you prefer.
If you would like to contact us, send an email to drkatchmar@icloud.com. Follow us on Instagram at lg.association.
All right, let's get started.
Let's start the show.
Let's do it.
She said they gonna lock you up for killing me tonight. And then I bit her lip just a little bit.
Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Michael Katchmar. Welcome to Lifeguards Off Duty. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone. And happy Valentine's to Sean and Tyler.
Happy Valentine's to you, Cashmore.
Yeah, happy Valentine's Day. Anyway, today is February 14th, the year of our Lord 2023, and it's St. Valentine's Day.
Is it his
Tyler?
birthday or is it his death?
I don't know.
I think it's his birthday.
Yeah, what's the story with Valentine's
No
Day?
idea. I never checked.
I know for some reason they weren't allowing people to get married. I don't know the reason why, and he was just a saint or I guess a priest at the time that did that in secret so people could, be happy and married.
Did he marry gay people?
I don't think it was like that. I think it was just like in general.
There was no gay people back in the
Yeah.
back
Sure-
in those
sure
days.
there weren't.
There was
They didn't.
Being gay
Anyway,
didn't start till like the
yeah,
60s.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about
It was all that LSD.
LSD. Yeah. Anyway, I was listening to somebody on a internet this morning. They were talking about Valentine's and love. And they were talking about what love means and everything. And you guys don't have kids, but there's you have love between like a person, like your girlfriend or husband or boyfriend. But then there's you can love a kid. It's a whole different thing, or a friend. So anyway, happy Valentine's.
What is love to you, Katchmar?
Oh, it's different levels. I mean, like Ava, I love her as a daughter. It's a different love than with Virginia. So as a wife, it's a whole different thing. But what it means is that other person is more important than anything else in your life. It's a commitment. It's a what's the word I want to use? A compromise. But I think when you meet somebody, and you really love somebody, that's a law. It's a really neat thing. I mean, you're better. It's 1 + 1 = 4. So
Greater than the sum of your parts, right? You guys have anything special planned for your darlings?
Well, it depends.
Did you do anything special?
No. When you listen, get to my age and get to my level, there ain't specials. Maybe some. I get some flowers.
You can still have
flowers.
some spark in your relationship.
Flowers.
Yeah, you don't
Spice
have
things up a little bit.
You didn't get Virginia flowers?
I did actually, but not roses. I got a yellow.
Not roses.
Do you know the difference between the different colors of roses, like what red is, and like yellow and pink?
No.
There's a whole thing. You'd have to look it up, but I just out of my memory, red is for love. I think yellow is maybe like friendship, like a new friend or exciting, new beginning, they all have their own kind of thing. So if you get
Cashmar's got some color theory knowledge.
Yeah, right?
No, I can tell you that's how it works. But we want to wish everybody a happy Valentine's Day. And I tell you, this weather's really nice. In New Jersey here today, I rode my bike. It was about
12 miles, right?
yeah, I did about 15, but it was the temperature outside was almost 60 degrees. And this is one of most warm Februarys that I can remember.
Yeah, why is that? Why is it so warm now?
It's the Chinese burning all that coal.
Yeah.
It's the Chinese burning the coal and the goddamn cows farting all the time.
Do you think that's what the Chinese weather balloons are about?
They're making February warmer.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're doing.
Sean, actually, Marissa shares the same theory as you about global warming.
Oh, it's shifting?
Yeah, just that the seasons are shifting to different areas of the calendar.
It feels right. It's like it's warm in February.
Wouldn't it be great if we turned into California weather? and they just get shittier and shittier weather. Like it just deteriorates. It's like the worst place to be is in California. Like 50 years from now,
forest fires and
forest
earthquakes.
fires and droughts and
locusts
and then like New Jersey, which everybody thinks is the armpit of the world. It turns out to be like beautiful, beautiful weather.
Well,
They're wrong.
According to all the popular podcasters, California is a pretty shitty place to be right now.
We don't know. There's beautiful
Well,
weather.
to all the podcasters in the comedy scene.
Yeah, all 300 of them. People that hate on New Jersey are just wrong. We are next to two massive metropolitan areas.
Keep them out of here. Just tell them.
Yeah, Jersey is a very
don't come
special
here.
place.
Don't come here, especially the Jersey Shore. The worst place you want to go is to the Jersey Shore in the summertime. Stay away.
Never come.
Never come. It's so bad.
Stay out.
The
stay
food
alive.
sucks here. Entertainment. The beaches are horrible.
Oh, have you ever had the
pizza
pizza
sucks.
from Jersey?
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, the pizza is terrible.
Repulsive.
Yeah. Oh.
I get the hate actually.
But I tell you, you talk about the global, warming, and definitely, no doubt about it, is the weather's changing. When I was a kid, it used to snow all the time. It was very cold, and the winters were different, and the weather patterns were different. But I always tell you, I don't know, 30,000 years from now, we will have an ice age, no matter what you say. And whether or not we'll have any human beings on the planet will be another thing. I tell you what, if we have like a nuclear war and destroy everything, probably in, 500, maybe a million years, maybe 500,000, it'll be back to, the same old shit. It'll be nice, nice green planet, and things will come around. I don't know if the planet will ever die, but it will get cold again. But I'll take the nice weather. But I think that you made a good point. It's changing all around the world. I remember when I used to go to the Caribbean a lot. It would be during February, Christmas and January. So December, January, and February, you'd have what they call the Christmas winds, and the winds would really howl. And it was a distinct, change. Here, we used to have a lot of northeast storms. You'd have a couple northeast storms during the summer. The wind was always like west and then went to southeast at the end of the day. I mean, it's changed.
I don't know if it's that when I was younger, but I feel like there were more thunderstorms. I kind of miss big storms.
I tell you what, you never really used to see northwest wind just come without a storm. So there's definitely a change. But anyway, I think everybody should be happy. This is Valentine's Day, and we're getting in. This is the first, in my opinion, like we're going in the other end of the hump.
We're getting over it.
Yeah, we're starting to go. Yeah, now you figure then it's going to start weaning down. Before you know it, March will be here.
Yeah, Punxsutawney Phil was wrong, man.
Yeah.
Spring's here.
Well,
Stupid
it ain't over
gopher.
yet. Don't remember March. March comes in like a lion, goes out like a lamb. It could come in pretty bad.
Who cares how Valentine's started? Why do we trust a gopher to tell us when spring's happening? Like, who's that guy?
That is one of the more silly traditions that we have as
uh,
Americans.
affects the calendar of the world.
Right. So listen,
I don't think people ever have taken that seriously, though, right?
Oh, people do. Yeah, like the almanac was big. My parents,
The Farmer's Almanac, right?
my father, back in the day, people used to listen to that thing all the time, and they would really go by that really heavy duty, and make predictions. but anyway, let's just we're not going to talk so much. I don't think we have anything planned. I mean, if you want to talk about lifeguard stuff, but I want to talk about
lifeguarding stuff.
Well, we got the whales, but let's just talk about the balloons real quick, because this is environmental.
yeah.
I mean, two things. I want to talk about the other thing. They had a huge environmental catastrophe, as far as I could see, in
Turkey, right?
No. Well,
Wasn't
that
there an
too.
earthquake
Listen,
week
there's
ago?
like 50,000
train
people.
thing
That's like-
happening
The
somewhere.
train thing. It's called a place called. I think it's called Pristine, not Palestine. Pristine. I might be pronouncing it wrong. I think it's
Prostate.
No. I think it's not prostate. But I think it's called Pristine. But what they did is they had these toxic chemicals that they derailed, and then they decided what the best thing to do was let it all out. They opened up let it drain all out,
No, Cash, isn't that like
and
when
then
there's
burn it, and then let it burn.
when there's unidentified flying things in the sky and a chemical spill? You don't think maybe
You don't put your
1940s,
tinfoil
50s?
hat on
Yeah,
for a second?
aliens.
No.
You don't think
I
that
bet-
at
well,
all?
So, did this happen this weekend?
It happened, this weekend. I guess.
I know, like, I've been so off the radar. Like, we went to this cabin that had zero service. I didn't even know who won the Super Bowl till like 6 hours ago.
Oh yeah, the Giants.
And apparently there was a big commercial about Jesus
There was more.
Right.
There's 3 or 4 commercials.
It was a whole
Really? The
campaign.
church is making a comeback?
Nah, well, it was yeah. Let's
All right,
just
yeah,
let's,
we'll get to the
let-
Super
let-
Bowl.
wait,
and-
let's just go. This thing was an environmental impact.
It wasn't aliens.
And so well, I don't know, but they burnt the so the fluid that was there in the cars, they thought it was going to explode. This is what the narrative on TV is, or on YouTube.
Yeah, I think it was unobtainium.
So what it was a bunch of chemicals in air. They thought it was going to explode and could be a mile, could cause damage for a mile. So they let it all out. They drained the cars and then they burnt it. They sent it on fire, and it burned. So they burned these chemicals, and so I don't, now everybody's like, there's pollution there and people are sick, but that's a big impact, and I don't know who authorized it. Maybe that's the best way to go. I don't know. I wasn't
And where
there.
was this?
Place called. It sounds like Palestine, but I think it's called Pristine.
I bet we're going to see
It's
cancer rates skyrocket in that area over the next 10 years.
It's on the border of Ohio and Pennsylvania.
Oh, this is in the U.S.?
Yeah, what the hell do you think we're talking about?
I don't
Pristine.
know. You said it's not Palestine. I'm assuming
Well,
it's
no,
like
the
in the
word
Middle
it's
East somewhere.
they've been saying
Yeah, he hasn't had a phone. He doesn't know.
I know nothing about anything that's
so
happened
the
over
name
the
of the
past 4
town,
days.
everybody's saying it's Palestine. It's Palestine. I think it's Pristine. I might be
Is
pronouncing
it
it wrong.
Montana or is it? It's.
No, it's in Ohio.
Yeah,
it's on
it's
the
in
border.
Ohio.
Montana.
I knew. I saw
God.
like the shape of like where the drones flew and where the train
Yeah, yeah.
accident happened.
So anyway, but people are saying, "Oh, the government don't care because it's MAGA country. Everything's politics." Let me tell you right now, remember when the cows were dying? Mysteriously, everybody thought it was
Yeah,
aliens. thing.
La Chupacabra.
Yeah, anyway, so that you have that, which was terrible. Now the getting just cycled over to the Super Bowl. I watched the Super Bowl, and I tell you what, the Super Bowl to me should be like the most unbelievable, exciting game and you throw everything against the wall.
I will say I'm not a huge Chris Stapleton fan, but his national anthem was incredible.
Yeah, and it was good. But but the thing is, at the end, they played it safe, and they
Who are they?
the Chiefs, Kansas City Chiefs, and they didn't go for the goal, and they played it safe.
Mahomes was had a high ankle sprain.
Yeah, that's no big. Yeah, he was.
Wait,
fine. Yeah.
can you
You could play.
describe
Yeah, actually-
to us a high ankle sprain?
Yeah, a high
Cashmore?
ankle sprain is basically what it sounds like. It's if where normally the ankle you get a sprain is on the outside of the ankle where that bone is. High ankle sprain is more in the middle and higher up.
like below the calf area.
Yeah, but just right there, another inch or two above. But you know what? If I was getting paid what he'd paid, what I would, if I was hurting
During the Super Bowl.
during the Super Bowl, I would say, shoot me up, give me a Percocet, stick some steroid in there and anesthetic, and I'll go play.
Now,
I mean,
what,
but
what kind
that's
of
not-
damage do you think can be caused playing at a high level like
Nah,
that? Like injury?
he'll be fine. It's just that it hurts. As long as he doesn't have, he'll take care of it. Sometimes you go in there and you'll if the bones moved apart, you'd put a you put a screw through it. But he was fine at the end.
He looked a little like just running. He did look sluggish.
But
Though.
my
He looked
point,
hurt.
my point about the game is that, it's almost just standing back. You should throw everything to the. You shouldn't be safe at a game like that. I mean, it kind of ended anti-combative.
Well, they were handed that holding call.
You understand?
at the
That was a
very
bad
end.
way. I heard that. Yeah.
It was a right call, but
Well, but don't say that in Philly. You'll get your.
yeah, no.
They're losing their
But that
minds
was
over
so late in the game and such minor holding. Generally, like you let players play. That for some reason they called it, whether the NFL scripted or not. It wasn't a non-climactic ending to a
Yeah,
goal.
but they-
If the NFL was scripted, it would be written off the back of holding calls because a referee can pick any time, any play he wants to call holding.
Yeah, but they have the, all the cameras. They look at it. Listen, I'm not even worried about that. My whole thing is that I think that it was almost like wimpy. At
They
the
were
end.
handed it. It was pretty.
I mean,
it
they
Yeah,
sucked.
but
could-
can you blame them? They won.
I understand that,
won
and
the
then,
big
and they
game.
played it safe. But sometimes, on a Super Bowl, maybe you shouldn't play it safe.
You know-
You should let I would have made the goal, let the other team try. But anyway, that's just me.
You know what I find
I don't think it
funny?
was so. I know what they did. They did probably the right thing. But to me, it was almost like not being. I don't want to say unsportsmanship, but it was just kind of blah. I mean, you're paying all that money. People probably paid.
High scoring game. It
I
was,
mean-
not exciting. The ending. at
No,
all.
it was like almost it was kind of like it's like you go to a fight with Muhammad Ali and the Joe Frazier.
It dragged out. They took two knees. It was boring.
I mean, if you go there and the guy gets knocked out in 20 seconds, that's like I'm got gypped on that. Anyway,
Well, I find it funny that it's always billed as the biggest sporting event in the calendar, and
it's just how many people.
I saw an infographic. The Super Bowl had about like 150 million viewers.
Right,
The World
right.
Cup final had 4 billion.
Yeah.
And that's once every 4 years.
Yeah,
But if you can, I bet the Champions League final gets more viewers than the Super
No.
Bowl.
Listen, other than the United States or
Nobody gives a
Americans,
shit. Yeah.
or other than Americans out of the United States, nobody watches. Nobody watches NFL football, Super Bowl. I've been in different countries. You got to remember, Super Bowl used to be played in what do you call it? November, Thanksgiving. It was always in November. You know, I mean, Thanksgiving is Super Bowl. You see, you guys don't even
So
remember.
they started the season earlier?
Yeah, the season ended. Well, the season ended earlier. If Super Bowl you never went
More games, more money. Right?
Yeah.
Super Bowl was right around. You know, anyway. So what I've been around the world, different places while the Super Bowl was playing, whatever month it was, and you have to beg to have the TV put on. You know, I mean, they wouldn't watch
What
it.
do you think of the halftime?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, you know,
I was originally bored by it, but Rihanna kept winning me over as the show went on. That girl has so many bangers that she either featured on or her own songs.
Man,
It is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
There was like 6 years where everything she did was just like magical.
Yeah, she was like the hottest girl at the time, and then just dropped it all and like doesn't do anything anymore.
Yeah, why
Yeah.
would she? You know?
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
it was.
like-
I thought it was nice. I mean, she's pregnant, you know. So she wasn't. I don't think she was. You know, she wasn't spinning around like she probably could have. But I thought it was fine. My thing. Let me make the other thing we talked about. So one thing I want to come out is that they had commercials for basically Jesus.
So yeah. Set the stage for this.
So what happened was the one I saw initially, it said Jesus was a refugee, and they had this family that was living in South America. They didn't really specify where, and they said, you know, they're happy, but they had no money, and then the government thought they were insurrectionists, and they came after them, and they had to flee, and you know, so I'm thinking, oh, this is like politics about, you know, all these people coming up from South America, you know, they're refugees.
The
you know,
commercials were good though.
But
Did
here's
you
the thing,
like
though.
high production value.
Did you see
Yeah,
them?
yeah.
I didn't.
But-
They were basically
I know
frames.
nothing.
They were basically frames of a bunch of different people from different backgrounds fighting. Like it was two white people you could clearly tell were liberal and Republican, two black people arguing, two black
Right,
on
that-
white,
so it's
Mexican,
different-
Latino, like everybody.
Right, so there was different commercials.
They showed all the hate.
The one that I saw, I thought was, you know, kind of politically motivated, but like Sean's talking about the other ones, I thought they were spot on. They were, you know, they're basically saying, hey, you know, we got to get together, and
I just
but-
want to point out one thing for anyone that's looking for like what I think is the best version of that, like that kind of like
The
political,
Kendall
racial.
Jenner Pepsi commercial.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, that's like the opposite of that. That's the exact.
What were you
opposite.
gonna say?
But this like illustration of like whatever political or racial tension. There's a song called "I'm Not Racist" by Joyner Lucas, and you can go look it up by yourself because it's pretty heavy, but it's like one of the coolest things like that I've ever seen.
I'll tell you this: I've never seen, you know, I mean, back in the day when things were tough in this country. I remember when I was going to school, and I mean, I was in grammar school, and in Bayonne, New Jersey, where I grew up, they actually had a parade to celebrate, you know, God, because everybody was scared that we were, you know, I don't know what was going on. Maybe it wasn't the Vietnam War, but whatever it was. And when Apollo 13 was stranded around the moon, people were praying. Congress had a session of prayer. I mean, this country was a whole different, you know, animal. We've gotten away from that, and seeing this thing with Jesus, kind of, I tell you my gut feeling about the whole thing. I think people are getting scared. I think people are getting scared of where the world is going, and everybody has their own little thing. You know, if you're black, you have one perception. If you're white, if you're Russian, if you're Ukrainian, if you're, you know, wherever, American, Chinese, and I think that everybody is just scared that we're headed down to, you know, oblivion, and that we may not make it as a species. You know, climate change, whatever. And I think that there's a certain amount of people. There's an appetite, you know, for some kind of hope. I'm surprised to see it in the Super Bowl. I think it was really good. I think, like Sean said, there was a lot of different, you know, thoughts about it, but that's pretty significant. I've never seen that. And whether or not you believe in God or Jesus, but it was there. And I don't know if people are talking about it. Like, have you heard anything on the internet? Is it a big thing or no? Nobody's really.
I think people think it's weird. I don't think it's.
They don't know what to make of it.
It's like massively culturally really relevant. The M&Ms people talked about more, I think, which is just nonsense.
Yeah, the other one. The other
Did you
one.
pay attention to the Eminem thing?
Yeah,
They
yeah.
basically
yeah.
stripped the
Yeah.
female characters of being any type of provocative or attractive.
Yeah.
And then they announced that they were getting rid of them. This was all built up before the Super Bowl, and then they made it seem like they were going to get rid of them forever during the Super Bowl, and then by the last commercial that they ran, they're all back as they were.
Nice.
I tell you,
I remember
what,
Tucker Carlson having like a bit about, oh, they took her heels off, and like making like the biggest deal about like the purple M&M and how they got rid of her heels and put her in a pair of like
I
don't
tell
know,
you,
like Keds or whatever.
the one that I thought was very clever. So I think it was for an app or maybe a YouTube channel, and basically you see this big giant rabbit grabbing people and taking them away, and then throwing them in a hole. Right, so you're looking at it, you're like, what's this about? And basically, did you ever hear the expression? You go down the rabbit hole, like you get on the internet, you look up, we want to get gloves for it's cold, and the next thing you know, you're there for 2 hours, and you went down the rabbit hole. You went to gloves, then you went to cars, and then you're what I'm saying, you're on a sailboat, and so this thing was about their app or their web page or whatever it was is so good that you'll go right down the rabbit hole. I thought that was kind of clever, So that one was good. There was one with that guy Driver. He's an actor.
Adam Driver.
Yeah, what was that one about?
I don't the movie.
No, it was a commercial.
I don't.
That was another one. I can't remember exactly. It was,
Most of the commercials bored me, honestly. I think Super Bowl commercials definitely peaked.
Yeah, they weren't.
10 years ago.
Generally, they weren't
10
that
years
good.
ago.
Yeah.
So, how about we talk about these whales, because there's more whales still coming up.
Yeah, there's
New
Number
Jersey.
9?
There's a 9th whale that died and washed up in Manasquan.
Wow.
Um,
So tell people where Manasquan, New Jersey, right?
yeah, in Manasquan, New Jersey.
When did it wash up?
I think yesterday.
Mm.
So the 13th.
Tell you what, the ocean was rough yesterday. There was about 4 to 6 foot swells, and it was howling.
Did you paddle out?
No, yeah, but today it died right out. I mean, I was talking to a couple of my buddies, Jocko, who's going to go surfing. I mean, it was okay, but I don't think I don't think it was what they thought it would be. So that's the 9th whale.
Yeah,
Any ideas? Did they do an autopsy, or what do they call
They're
it?
they're taking it to a landfill where they're going to take samples and I guess dump it there. There's still people disagreeing over what's happening.
Wait, stop for a minute. First of all, usually they bury them things on the beach. How big is it?
35 feet. It's a female juvenile.
I guess what kind of truck you got? I mean, that's a big friggin' I want to see that. I mean, what are they going to do? Take it down the parkway? I mean, put a towel, a tarp over it? I mean,
Yeah. I guess
Just throw a beach towel on its head.
I thought they just going to dig a big hole in the beach and bury it.
It had to. Yeah, it has to be close to that landfill if that's what they're disposing it. I don't know.
What kind of truck? I mean, that's a friggin'. How much do they weigh?
There's no way they'd bury it on the beach. How many sharks that would attract?
No,
for the next 2
But that's
years?
a pretty big hole though, too.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've seen that. I mean, they built. Big. We have big. Things that.
I forget where that's happened, but that was like an issue. Like something
What do
got
you do with
buried
it?
on the beach, like
Yeah.
a dead body, and the waves were washing over it, sinking through the sand and washing back out, and it caused like a lot of shark activity.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that too big. Yeah, I guess if it's too big, what do you do? I guess you cut it up. I thought they cut it up and
buried it.
but
across.
okay. But they don't know. But I thought the other ones they didn't do biopsies.
They are. It just takes a long time for animal necropsies, which is basically an autopsy?
Yeah.
Narcolepsy. So they don't know what caused the death. That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
It has anything to do with this the sonar that they're doing?
Yeah, nothing's confirmed, but this is the 9th whale again. It's typically less than 1 per year. Now we're at 9 in less than 6 months.
So is this the aliens?
Yeah, you know what? It might be.
You didn't think about that. You see? This is all now. It's starting to show.
You think the drones
Remember with
have
Captain
radar
Kirk?
technology?
Remember when Captain Kirk they came back and got the whales?
No, we don't remember that.
I
No,
don't
that's
remember that at all.
Star Trek movie.
I'm a
Yeah,
Star Wars guy,
There's a Star
Cash.
Trek. They had to go back and they grabbed the whale. Yeah, and they put it and they beamed it up. They beamed the whole big whale.
I'm a Star Wars guy.
Yeah, maybe this is all. The balloons, the explosion in Palestine.
Though I don't think either of you saw Avatar 2. There's a great plot points about whales and how important they are to the life cycle of that planet.
Pandora.
Well, the thing.
Yeah, I still gotta watch that.
For people who are listening or listen to this, the whole idea about the whales is that the allegation is they're doing research with sonar out off our ocean
To build wind turbines.
wind turbines, which again, I think is dumb. I'm going on record.
12
Done.
New Jersey mayors have written letters to Biden to stop the production of the.
All right. So here's the thing. First of all, why if you how far out they're going to be? 10 miles.
50 miles.
50. 50. Okay.
So
50 miles.
it is in federal water because I think state water is only
200.
Like 200.
Yeah. Federal. Yeah. 3 miles is state.
Yeah.
200 is federal. Forget about where it is. Okay. 50 miles out. How are you going to get out there when you need to maintain it? And then you know how? First of all, 50 miles is probably 60 to 80 feet deep, and the storms, the water.
We talked. There's a plant being built too for the company that's in charge of the wind turbines. They have a plant being built on the southwest-ish coast of New Jersey, that little inlet in the Delaware, that they're going to run.
That's another thing. You run all cable. To me, it's just tons of maintenance. So down in Tortola, they tried having windmills, but every time the hurricane came, it knocked it down. There's 4 or 5 windmills down in Atlantic City, right when you go near Borgata, and they've been there for years. And I don't know, they're probably one of the most recognizable entities of the skyline. So I know, put them in the marshes if you want them. But to me, that's crazy being way out there. There's no way that would be cost effective. I don't see it. Just no way. And those things are high maintenance. And 50 miles. You guys don't know to go out 50 miles in a boat unless you're going to take a helicopter out there. That's the only way they're probably going to get it. There's no way. But how much can you take? You have to take a barge out there or boats. It's just crazy. I think it's stupid.
So you think the drones are what's killing the whales?
No, it might be the sonar. It might be. I don't know if they're doing any drilling out there. But I think we'd rather have solar panels. I don't know why. Solar's. I think solar's a great idea.
What do you think the information China or the aliens are getting with
looking
the drones?
for?
Yeah.
I don't.
Are they working together?
But listen, there's so many satellites and everything. To me, I don't think that's it. I think what's going on here is what I really think is I think China's fucking with us. They're just playing games.
I've heard the theory that the drones are there to see how fast we can scramble to take one out, like the efficiency.
Is it a drone or a balloon?
Both.
We're calling it drones, but I guess there has to be some way that it's like controlling flight. Yeah.
Listen, if you look at, let's just say, for instance, because this is going to get heavy now, but let's just say we're at war with Russia, and it may escalate in the United States and the West, and that we're also in war with China. Now, war, there's a lot.
Let's knock on wood on that one.
But here's the thing, so there's this tension back and forth. Back in the Cold War, there's all kinds of things going on. The real key is we really don't know because the government can't tell us everything, and I understand that. And they're playing a game. These guys are playing a big game, a military game. Hopefully they don't fuck up because it could be the end of the world. But
so how many of these spy balloons were there? 2?
I think there's 4 shot down.
There's 4 things that shot down.
And China has claimed to have seen one and not shoot at it.
So they're virtue signaling.
They might be.
Yeah, listen, they can find out. They have, back in the day, they had what's called U-2 plane, U-2 planes. These planes that go 50,000
spy planes, yeah.
Yeah, they're 50, 60,000 feet up. They
U-52, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, they got satellites. So so my point is they really need to have a weather balloon go through our country to get data. I don't know.
And you think it's just?
I think they're playing. I think it's like.
They could be playing around with like the.
What they do
the
here.
wind currents. Maybe they can drop a biological weapon in there.
Maybe, but here's the thing.
That's a good one. What do you think about that?
Yeah, they could, but they're doing. Listen,
see how fast it would take something to travel through the jet stream.
They know. Here's the thing. What they're doing is this. In China, like right now with Taiwan, they're doing overflights. The ships are going in across into neutral zone. It's all kinds of games going on. So I think that's what's going on. Question is, why are we getting in heightened? What's going on here? Why are we at this level of?
I don't know. The Chinese have been playing games for some sort of game for a long time. Like they own like an absurd amount of land in this country.
Yeah. What do you think about that? Do you know that about that, Kashmar?
Yeah, but if we go to war, they won't own it anymore. They'll be thrown out of here real quick. So, the thing you got to remember. Listen, everything in this room here, almost everything in this room here, is made in China.
We owe the Chinese a great debt of gratitude.
Well, what I say is China depends on us. We depend on them. Now, can we turn it around? We have way more natural source resources than China. If it came push to shove, we'd be hurting this country for, I don't know how many years, but eventually we'll we have enough energy, we have enough resources that we don't need anybody. We could really, come around.
That is why Ukraine's so valuable. It's the breadbasket.
Not to us.
No, I know, but like that's an important part, like piece in all this.
Right. Well, I don't think that, from what I see, what I know, what I read, that Ukraine has any strategic, benefit to us. I mean, Taiwan does, because they have the most. Taiwan has all the high-end ships, and we're still.
Yeah, but Ukraine has a benefit to China and Russia to feed.
Yeah, but not us though. Not us. In other words, there's no. Right,
Europe,
right.
It does.
Yeah, but
Europe, allies.
Yeah, but not us. I mean, if you
really not us directly.
No. And
do you think any modern country can be like completely self-sustainable? Like, do you think if the U.S. just shut its doors, we would be able to handle all of our needs?
Well,
tomorrow?
it'd be hard. I mean, you could, but you don't want to. My point is that one of the things that having war with China right now. I mean, if you talk about war, they're really dependent on us, and we're dependent on them. But I'm not that smart to know what could actually happen. I all I know is history, and I look back what happened with Stalin and Germany. Listen, when Hitler, if you go back and look at history, and I don't want to go crazy, but when Hitler, did what he did, right, and took over Poland and got into France, and he was done. He tried to negotiate a peace with Britain. He couldn't understand. He thought he won the war, and I don't know. The thing with Stalin, they became very suspicious of each other, and then that blew up. But there was so it changes, and who knows where we're at right now. In other words, Hitler thought it was over, and he wanted to negotiate, but Britain didn't want to, because they felt that would never be a good thing,
And it wouldn't. Like, eventually he would make another move.
So the bottom line is, is it inevitable? Are we going to wind up having a conflict, with China? And there's 1.6 billion people. You got to think about too. Don't forget about India. India has like another 1.7 billion. We talk about white, black, and most of the people in this world are not. They're Chinese and Indian.
Yeah.
I mean, and then of course you got Asian.
Most common name in the world is Muhammad.
Right, there you go. I think that to figure out where it's going to go and how it's going to shake out, we do have one thing in this country, and I really believe this, that the ability to be free, the ability to have, how we have the Constitution, right? The Bill of Rights and the First, Second, Third Amendment, and all the way out, gives us the ability to flourish. I think that in the United States, if you look at, China has had a hard time.
What amendment did you say?
No, I'm just saying our rule. It's not necessarily, but the freedom that we have, I think it generates people, and it doesn't matter white, black, whatever, to be entrepreneurial, to be really successful, and in China, probably about at least 1 billion of those people they live they're slaves. They have no opportunity. And they don't have probably any kind of opportunity to get to the internet, or they just work every day, and they're under the boot of the party. Same thing in India. I think is a little bit better. I have doctors that I work with, and that's the biggest democracy. So that's coming around. But my point is that we have the ability to really. I think our freedom gives us that ability, and if so I think that we're always going to be very lucky here. And I hopefully that China wants to change that, and I don't know what Russia wants, but it's always been this kind of conflict. Hopefully, things will work its way out. I hope we would get peace. I hope we don't have war. One thing that we have that's really was since I've been a kid, and that's the nuclear weapons. And when I was in school, we worried about that. And you guys now, Russia has 1,700 missiles. I don't know how many we have. Think about it. We could
probably more than
just
that.
Think about it. This is 2023. We think we're so mellow, so sophisticated, so, what's the word I want to use? Civilized. But in the meantime, it's just, we could be all gone. The whole world could be all gone in probably a day.
One button.
And you should pull up that movie, Dr. Strangelove. People should watch that. And you know, that's
Is that the James Bond? Is that a James
no,
Bond?
no. It's
Sounds like it.
no. Doctor Strangelove is a great movie because it illustrates what could happen when people you know go crazy. It was a general who went renegade and sent the air command with all the nuclear bombs and the planes to Russia, and we called them all back except one, and it dropped the bomb, and the people in the war room were discussing it, and Peter Sellers played 4 characters in the movie. He played the President of the United States, he played his henchman, he played a general. Anyway, make a long story short, at the end, they decide, you know what? Fuck it, let's just have World War III and we go into the caves and we'll get women and, you know, food and we'll repopulate the world. Yeah, you got to watch it. It's weird.
I checked out, I was watching Baywatch channel.
Right.
Have you, like, it's on weird cable providers?
24/7 Baywatch.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
I don't watch it often. I know we have a Lifeguard podcast.
This is the original.
I guess so. No, it's all of them. It's just
There's all different. Jason Momoa's in one season, like Baywatch Hawaii. It's pretty awesome.
But either way, I was watching. This was like an NBC ABC show, and the plot line was that a lifeguard. It was in his 20s in the show. Had an affair with a 20-year-old when he was 15, and you could run that on NBC in like the 90s or 80s.
No, they still had it now. It's
He
a
was
rerun.
15,
He was 15,
and the girl was
at least in her 20s, because she was like late 40s when she was in the show talking about what happened in their past.
Yeah, well, there's the movie with Sam Elliott. It's called Lifeguard.
Yeah,
And in that movie, he messes
like
around with a
20s
60.
with a young
Yeah,
girl.
like
You know what's a good Sam Elliott
16
movie
years old.
I watched the other day. You've seen Roadhouse.
Yeah.
That movie is amazing.
You told me about it.
Oh my god, it is the craziest, funniest thing ever.
But this one, but I tell you what, when I used to watch Baywatch, you know, I think Baywatch was great, and so they had one where, but Baywatch was like so over the top. You know, they'd be sitting there, the ocean's like so calm, and all of a sudden, you know, 10 miles out, there's a boat that's sinking. Like all of a sudden, and they're like, we got to go. And they get there, they're inside the boat, but they're down like, you know, 50,000 feet. They go, the lifeguards dive down, free dive, bring them up, do CPR on them. Then they're fine, and they're like shaking their hands and everything. But the one that was amazing is that they having this party, and it was competition. It was for Ironman. Now I used to do the Ironman, and the Ironman, for people who don't know, in lifeguarding, you swim out to the buoy, you swim in, you paddleboard out to the buoy, you paddleboard in, and then you row in. So that's an Ironman. And you know that's and sometimes they use jet ski, but that's it. So anyway, they were having an Ironman competition, and so this car goes off the pier. There's a pier, and some guy drives the car, girl, I don't remember, right off the end of the pier and hits the water and sinks down. Right now, the car isn't. You can see it. You know, they got the cameras. The car is sinking down, hits the bottom, and the people are inside the car. Right, the lifeguards. I swear, I'm not making this up. They jump in. Right, and it's like 30 foot of water. The whole bunch of them grab the car. They're walking. They grab the car and they walk the car out. You can see them. I mean, I don't know how they did it, you know,
This show is insane.
And they walk the car out, and they get the people, and they open the doors, and everybody's safe. And the girl and the lady goes, "They're unbelievable." And she goes, "No, they're Iron Man." You know, it's just like, come on.
Lifeguards.
I'm like, come on.
I wonder if
Come on.
Mythbusters check that one out. That sounds like something the Mythbusters would check out.
Mythbusters for sure had to do a Baywatch episode.
Yeah.
There was no way. But I like, one of the things too is that they did CPR on people that were dead, no pulse, no nothing, and like they did it for like 2 minutes. And the next thing you know, they're sitting up.
They're like coughing up water.
No, they're not, because they're fine. Yeah, they're cough, but yeah, man, I feel great. Yeah, okay, we'll go. You know, go check that out. You know, and they're 1 minute dead. And
let's go get a drink later, Mitch. Right, that's his name, Mitch.
Mitch
Buchanan.
Mitch Buchanan.
You can't beat though. What was her name? Pamela Anderson.
No, you cannot.
I mean, I could tell you, every boy sat there. You know, it's like, oh my God. You know, that was. I like how.
Hey, guys, be careful. This is Valentine's Day. We all got
what
women at home.
what I like was, I thought was a great movie was The Rock, when they did the Baywatch sequel.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was
the remake.
Yeah, that was so funny. And
that was funny because it was so self-aware. Like,
Well,
this is campy as hell. And
did
we're
you
gonna
know-
really lean into it?
Right, but if you watch that movie, the one girl, her boobs get bigger and bigger as the movie goes. There's a lot of nuances there that you have to watch.
Yo, there's another like lifeguard media thing. They call themselves Lifeguard News, I think, and they actually like went to the set and interviewed like The Rock and Zac Efron, like all the actors during the shooting. Yeah,
Well,
it's pretty cool.
they made the funny thing because it's like, you know, you're not a cop, you're a lifeguard. You know, remember that was
Yeah,
the
they
kind
kept
of
making those jokes. In the same episode I just watched, they reached out to the police and had an investigation on a bike crash that one of their girlfriends got in and was trying to figure out who put her in a hospital.
Right. And that's smart. You think about it, you know, how much can you do about lifeguarding and rescue? So what they did is they started, like, somebody be on the beach drowning, and then they pull a guy out, and then they find out that he was part of a drug ring, and you know, then next thing you know, they're busting it. You know, they're like, you know, inland, you know, a shootout. You know,
What was the one we watched with like the crazy uncle?
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about the one with the air thing underwater.
Oh yeah, that was absolutely ridiculous as well.
We watched this episode where it started with a guy who made a small scuba tank that he could hold. Okay?
yeah.
And then there was a rescue happening on a reef with underwater plant. What?
Coral.
Carl.
Plankton? No.
Yeah, no. Kelp.
Yeah. So they got like their feet tied by kelp, and they were lost in the underwater kelp reef forest. And instead of using the product that the man designed as intended, just breathe underwater, they would bring the victim up in pockets of air underneath the reef and like let her suck on the air, go down, and try and find their way out.
While she was in the pocket of air, they were having her breathe from the oxygen tank.
And then go down and try and find their way out again.
I really think when these writers said basically, fuck it, let's just have
keep
fun.
the story going.
Just keep, and you know, it just goes to show you, you take good-looking people, I mean, put them in like hardly any clothes, and
people will watch.
I mean,
You guys
Jersey
have seen
Shore. Yeah.
yeah, but it's funny because I think it gave lifeguarding actually a little bit more prestige. I really think it did.
I think it did originally, and I think it stripped it back too as the show ran too long.
Yeah, that's typical of a lot of shows. They go too long.
Like they
get really esoteric and stupid.
It became stupid, and then I think it kind of hurt the image of lifeguarding.
Yeah.
And now, you know, you run down the beach with your can, and everyone's screaming Baywatch.
Yeah.
Well, back when that movie came out, Lifeguard, there was a song, I Want to Be a Lifeguard. So that was 77, maybe it came out, 78. And I remember we used to get our balls busted. People on the boardwalk would be, hey, Mr. Lifeguard, you know, like, and so back in the day, you know, they would push it to the point where a couple of our lifeguards would like jump up on the boardwalk and, you know, throw the guy over the fence into the sand. But that was that. Yeah, we got our, you know, kind of, you know, they ribbed us. But I tell you, Bondi Beach, I think, has made a really big impact. I mean, if you think about it, you see the stuff that goes on there. I mean, that's serious stuff. And if you look at a lot of stuff out there, there's a lot of serious beach patrols that do a lot of crazy stuff. I mean, California, Florida. California is really, I mean, those guys are doing rescues off of the cliffs and you know, boat rescues. So I think that, you know, generally speaking, it's coming up. In this show, too, I think we've had guests on here that have been really professional and really, I was very impressed. You know, a lot of guys that we talked to.
The number one lifeguarding podcast in the world.
Yeah, that's right. And definitely in Ocean County. But we should have, too bad we couldn't, we should critique. Yeah.
That's in the workshop already.
For the original Baywatch.
We're already working on that. There's some copyright issues that we're trying to work around.
Because I tell you, we could that stuff is great. I thought they were the funniest one.
Yeah, if there's this is to all the listeners, if there's any lifeguard or ocean themed movie or media you'd like us to watch and react to, that's something we're working on. So
let us
maybe
know.
Leave a comment, send us an email. You guys know how to do all that.
How much time we got? Because you want to get out of here.
Yeah,
right?
I got to split within the next 10 minutes.
Well, let's anything, Sean. So what else did we want? Anything else? So we talked about the Super Bowl. We talked about the whales, the pollution, the satellite, the drones, the end of the world.
The world.
End of the world.
It isn't happening yet, Cash.
It ain't happening yet.
You're all gonna
Oh, oh,
die.
gun-
you're the
we-
guy. You're the
we-
guy when you
we-
get out of the subway that's holding the sign
Yeah.
that says Jesus warned us about this.
Yeah. Well, the gun violence and everything else. Marijuana is too powerful. You know, I think if you really look back, if you really
That's
go,
what's wrong with this country. The
if
weed,
you-
the weed has gotten too
it's
strong.
too strong. That's the
what's wrong with
problem.
this country. That's what
That's
I
what
believe.
you got to key down the weed.
Everybody's fucking paranoid. That's why we're fat.
So I'm watching this one. The girl goes, do you like getting high, but smoke bothers your lungs or some shit? Like she goes, the edibles. So I was watching
Was this a
that.
Super Bowl commercial?
No, this is on the internet. I mean, they push this shit. My thing is though, you make a good point. It's always been the end of the world. It's always bad. Back in the '60s when I was younger,
Guys, if we get 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, we're gonna get Cashmore to eat a Delta 8 gummy.
Yeah.
I got a captain's license. I'll get arrested for that. But I think
it's
that
federally legal, Delta
here's the
8.
thing. Here's the thing, though. We this world, and this is something you have to remember. And you make a good point. It's always been bad, and it could get worse. But human beings are an amazing thing. If you look at the history, it goes up and down. And I just think that if you look at World War I, World War II, and you had a pandemic during World War I. People forget it. Worse than this one. You had. I was listening to Bill Maher. I'm going to do this on my. I did it on my show. But Bill Maher was talking about Mao, and Mao Zedong, and he said only killed 1 million people. About 50 to 60 million people died there, and that was in the 50s and 60s. I don't want to make morbid, but that's pretty bad. We haven't gotten that yet. I mean, from the drugs, overdoses, it's bad now, but in the 80s, it's pretty close. Gun deaths and people dying, explosions, bombs. It was worse then. So we're still, even though we're bad right now, it's still not that bad. New York City, back in the day in the 80s, before Mayor Giuliani, there was about 2,000 murders a year. What is it now? 600? I mean, it's still a lot.
Clean that shit up.
But my point is that you have to. It's called perspective. Hopefully, we'll get through this, and
We will get through this.
Well, if we don't,
We're
then-
human. It's what we do. We adapt.
Yeah, we do. Well, we're hopeful, but there's been a lot of extinctions. We have the potential to off ourselves, which is stupid. But anyway,
All right, guys. On this happy note,
let's go.
happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day, and when was our next show going to be?
Tuesday.
What do you think?
Tuesday, baby.
Tuesday. So yeah, everybody, happy Valentine's. Tyler, I love your shirt.
Oh, thank you. I made it myself
Did you really?
Actually, everything about it.
from top to bottom. Yeah.
How'd you make the oars and everything in the SH? That was.
Yeah. You think we don't know anything about T-shirt design?
We've been trying to talk to you about it.
We've been trying to tell you this.
Oh, there's Doug's thing.
Yeah, that's a Doug
Okay.
Priest original.
I like that.
So
I like that.
this is part of our clothing order. I tie-dyed it myself because the plain white just wasn't doing it.
Oh,
for me.
so on that note, we just put in an order for our shirts. So we're gonna keep watch for that. We're gonna have we're gonna start with a set of 5 shirts, and these are Doug Priest specials. It's his artwork.
We have a video about him. Check it out.
Yeah, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna start giving these shirts away for people who call in. They're gonna be super really nice. Anything else?
Yeah, we're gonna start bribing you guys to listen to us more with
Yeah.
shirts
All right. Well, very good. Well, thank you for listening.
and
We're on,
stickers.
yeah. So make sure put up my stuff here. Dr. Kachmar Dr. Kachmar at iCloud.com. You could give us an email. Go to my webpage, Jersey Shore Foot and Leg Center. I do have a show also. It's called Scrubbing Up. We'll talk more about medical stuff. Get us on podcasts. We're on Spotify and also Apple Podcasts, Rumble, Twitter. Look for us. We're all over the place.
We're everywhere.
We're everywhere.
Follow us on Instagram, lg.association. You can also
All right.
email us at lifeguardsoffduty@gmail.com. And don't forget, if you have a high ankle sprain, hit up your boy, Dr. Michael Kachmar.
That's right. All right.
Let's
goodbye.
get outta here.
Goodbye, everyone. Have a nice
Stay
night.
out and
Stay alive.
Stay alive.